Assalamu alaikum and welcome to a new episode of Children's ABTV. I'm your host Amir Badawi and this is
Yusuf Shahristani. Thank you for joining us.
How are you finding CABTV episodes so far? We'd love to hear from you.
So why don't you send us an email to cabtv@ahlulbayt.tv with all the feedback on the shows this year.
Have you been fasting this year?
Well, yeah, it's been tough, but I'm doing okay.
I get so hungry in school with all my friends eating in front of me.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, but at least we are getting so much rewards.
I definitely feel different this month because I think I consciously remember Allah more, and suddenly all the worship we do in this month seems so important.
I guess we just have to build up on it throughout the year.
You know, when you think about ancient writing, you imagine scrolls of paper.
Well, it's funny you should say that because the Quran was arranged and written in the form of the book during the life of the Holy Prophet, Muhammad, peace be upon him.
That's what makes the Quran so accurate, that it was all recorded right at the time it was revealed.
And the greatest miracle is that after 1,000 years, it's still going strong as ever and has been translated into 114 different languages.
And since we're in the month in which the Quran is revealed, we're going for a brief recitation now, so stay tuned. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Our next show is all about praising Allah the Almighty, and this is something we tend to do daily during the month of Ramadan.
That's right, by reciting Dua al-Iftitah, we remember and mention the great qualities of Allah. So now let's take a look at the words from this beautiful supplication to understand it better.
Assalamu alaikum. How wonderful the world is. Mountains, rivers, forests, farmland, lakes and grassland, that all evidence Allah's bounty and grace. How blessed we are to be able to communicate with the magnificent Creator who brought everything into existence and has made it possible for us to survive and benefit from all of His bright and beautiful signs. He facilitated means whereby all of us may draw benefit from the light of guidance that He sent down with the Holy Messenger and his progeny, whom He appointed exemplars and role models for humankind. May Allah Almighty enable us to be included under the supervision of the owner of the time, Imam al-Mahdi, who is always with us, illuminating our way, even though we're not able to see him. Imam al-Mahdi shares his words in the inspiring Dua al-Iftitah that all believers read during the holy month of Ramadan. Let us listen to a part of this dua and find out what it means.
فصرت أدعوك آمنا وأسألك مستأنسا لا خائفا ولا وجلا مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك فإن أبطأ عني عتبت بجهلي علي ولعل الذي أبطى عني هو خير لي لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور.
In this part of the dua, the words we hear say, "So I appeal to you with confidence, beg you with a joyful heart, without fear of being rejected, as I do over and over again when I hope to achieve my objective. But when you do not immediately respond, my impatience is voiced in complaint, without understanding that what you delay is in my best interest, because it is you who is the all-knowing." These beautiful words move my heart as a humble servant of Allah and as an avid follower of Ahl Bayt. Praise be to Allah, under whose protection we all are, today and every day of our lives.
We often think that people from 1,000 years ago were living in the Dark Ages. But in Muslim civilization from the 7th century onward, there were amazing advances and inventions that still influence our everyday lives. The great Ibn Sina wrote a highly influential textbook called the Canon, which was printed in Rome in 1593 and became the standard textbook in European schools, and later influenced modern medical textbooks like Gray's Anatomy.
Assalamu alaikum again and welcome back to the Rhyming Factory. Guess who found another poem and still doesn't know what the poem is about? That's right, it's me. Maybe you can help me again. Okay, does everyone understand? Let's go. Every day we gather and say Quranic verses 5 times a day. We do this so we never go astray, thanking God even when the skies are grey. 3 times a day we hear the call to give thanks for all we recall, even when we seem to fall. On our mats we'll stand tall. Standing in front of Allah is how we reconnect. It doesn't matter who you are or what sect. It's the way Muslims keep themselves in check. It is our souls and hearts that it affects. We gather like lonesome doves, praising the one we love. Our words float with the angels above. This is all I know of. I think I've guessed it again. Have you guessed it? I'm prayer. Thank you so much for helping me again. I can't wait to see you next time. I'm sure I'll find so many more poems. Assalamu alaikum.
now time to take a look at another great sermon in Nahj al-Balagha coming up next.
My dearest child, have I ever told you about the time when there was a man who lived long before we did? The first man to accept the faith of the Prophet, Ali, son of Talib. He was a wise man who entrusted us with his words. We mustn't ever forget about these words. Now, my child, read this sermon out loud for me, will you, dear?
Yes, Grandma. The sun. Look at the sun and the moon, the plants and the trees, the water and the stones, and the changes of the day and night, the gush of the oceans, the great number of the mountains, and the height of their peaks, at the difference of languages, and the variety of tongues.
Oh, that was lovely. That was lovely to hear, my little one. Now let's close this book and keep it in a safe place before we go to sleep.
Where shall I put it?
Put it on that shelf, dear.
The one over here?
Yes, right over there, next to the red book.
Here?
Aha, that's the one.
The internet is a place we go to play games with our friends. We learn a lot of different things and keep up with the trends. We sign into different places, we tap and click, but sometimes on the internet we forget to stop and think. The internet can be a dangerous place if we don't know all the rules, but watching CyberSafe can help me pick up all the tools. Salam alaikum, and welcome to an episode of CyberSafe, the show that teaches you how to use the internet safely. In today's episode we will discuss kid-safe browsers. As we know, the internet is a really big place, and sometimes it's easy to end up in the bad part of town. To avoid seeing things which are inappropriate or haram, it's better to use browsers made for just us kids. How cool is that? There are so many different browsers you can use, but I'm going to start with my favorite, which is Kiddle. Kiddle is a really colorful and kid-friendly browser, and the exciting part is that it's powered by Google. It has a funky red robot to greet you, and you can easily look for images, surf the web, look for videos, or read things from Wikipedia, also known as Kiddle Encyclopedia. Have you guys heard of KidRex? It's another cool browser which is different from Kiddle, but it pretty much does the same thing. The difference is, however, that in KidRex, the design is done by kids, and you can send in your web browsing design too. Imagine it gets selected. How great would that be? Now, I've got a web browser for those Android lovers. Sorry, iPhone peeps, you'll have to sit this one out. So our next kid browser is Maxathon. What a great name. The great thing about this browser is that all content that is unsafe is blocked. Not only that, but any links, ads, or promotions are also blocked. I've got some bad news. Here's another browser for those Android lovers. This is a bit of a long name. It's the Safe Internet Browser for Kids. This site is so cool because it comes with 3 pre-installed sites for kids, such as Amazing Paper Planes, Lego, and Cool Math. Finally, I do have a browser for the Apple customers. It's called Sandbox. This is pretty cool because you can make a list of all the sites you want to visit and add it to the whitelist. So anytime you want to visit one of your regular websites, it will be on your whitelist. If you find this a bit tricky, I'm sure that you have a happy, helpful adult around you can get help from. There's also another browser that can be downloaded by Apple customers. It's called K9 Web Protection. It looks a bit more grown up, but it's also very kid safe, blocking ads and malicious sites. You can find out how many site blocks you get too. Another great browser I came across is Kiddos. It's not only a browser for kids, but it's a launcher with an ad blocker. There are no in-app purchases for kids, because some of us kids have a habit of buying things without realizing, like extra lives in our game or even hints. Kiddos also has a kid-friendly camera, a photo gallery, and also hand-picked videos for preschoolers and babies. So if you have a little brother or sister or cousin, they are safe to use it too. For those who want a little more than just a search engine, you can always use Safe Search Kids, because you can get help with maths on this site, and you can also deal with things like cyberbullying too. A similar website to this is Kids Search, which has educational games and kid-friendly videos through KidsTube. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you found it interesting and useful. We've nearly come to the end today, but not before we visit our internet safety rhyme. I keep my information safe, I don't let people know my name, address or number or which school I go. I never talk to strangers if they're not a real life friend. No matter who they say they are, it could be just pretend. If I take a photo of a friend, I'm always well aware to ask if it's okay with them before I click and share. I'm always kind to others in the playground and on screen. I never write or tell them things that are hurtful, bad or mean. I always ask an adult before I go online. If we look at things together, I know I will be fine. If I ever see something that makes me scared or sad, I tell an adult I can trust and it won't be so bad.
The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, said, Fatima is part of me. Whatever causes her pain causes me pain, and whatever makes her happy makes me happy.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm the Hijab Fairy, and today I'm going to introduce another beautiful young girl and her experiences with hijab. Are you ready to watch with me? Let's go!
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Sakina and I am 10 years old. I started wearing hijab just before my 9th birthday. I feel hijab is essential because it shows that you are Muslim and people respect you. Hijab means a barrier or a partition. From what? From evil. If we wear hijab, we are safe from evil because we feel we are protected. In the Quran, Surah Ahzab, Ayat 59, Allah has said, O Prophet, tell your wives and their daughters and the women of the believers to bring down over themselves part of their outer garments that is more suitable, and they will well be known and not abused, and Allah is ever forgiving and merciful. This ayat explains that if women wear hijab, they will not be abused because they are covered up and modest. Lots of women do not wear hijab because they think it's limiting themselves as a person, but this is not true. It just keeps them safe and modest. And we can do the same things we could do if we had a hijab on or not, like play sports and go to work. Nowadays, hijab has become a fashion thing with lots of styles you can wear, and you can even buy extra accessories to go with your hijab. But hijab is not for fashion. Hijab is for the pleasure of Allah, and fashion is for the pleasure of ourselves. Now, which one is better? It really gets on my nerves when girls wear hijab just for fashion. When you wear hijab, you need to wear it correctly, and no hair can be showing, and you must cover up your neck and your chest. In the Prophet Muhammad's time, non-Muslims and Muslims covered their hair, but they did not cover up their chest. Quran says to cover your chest. Also, make sure you do not wear tight clothes on our bodies. Also, hijab is not just a state of dress, but in fact a state of mind. How we interact and talk with men is also important. If we always bear hijab in our mind, then the amount of makeup we wear, how we talk with men, and how tight our clothes are will always ensure that we have a modest appearance and personality. Now that is true hijab in my opinion.
I hope you enjoyed watching her video. I'll see you again soon for another hijab story. Lots of love and du'as.
Ramadhan ya Ramadhan, Ramadhan ya Ramadhan, Ramadhan ya Ramadhan, Ramadhan ya Ramadhan.
It's almost come to an end of the show, but not before our daily dua up in the clouds.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم لا تخذلني فيه لتعرضي معصيتك ولا تضربني بسيئات نقماتك وزحزحني فيه من موجبات سخطك بمنك وأياديك يا منتهى رغبة الراغبين وصل اللهم على محمد وآله الطاهرين
اللهم رب شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه
An Arab beggar arrived in Baghdad. When he passed the bakery, he smelled the pleasing smell of many kinds of food, but didn't have any money. He took the stale bread out of his bag and softened it with the steam coming out, and then ate it. The baker astonishingly watched this for a few moments. When his bread finished, the beggar wanted to leave. The baker stopped him and demanded money. They exchanged hot words. Coincidentally, Bahlul passed by. The Arab wanted Bahlul's decision. Bahlul said to the baker, "Did this person eat your food or not?" He didn't eat the food, but certainly benefited from its steam. Bahlul said to him, "This is correct. Listen." He took a few coins out of his pocket and one by one showed them to the baker, dropped them on the ground, and then picked them up, and he said to the baker, "Take the noise of these coins." Extremely surprised, the baker asked, "What kind of way is this to give money?" Bahlul replied, "According to my just decision, the person that sells, smells, and steams should in exchange get the noise and tinkling of the coins."
اللهم رب شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن.
You can also read the following dua for the 6th day of the holy month. O Allah, on this day, do not let me lower myself by disobeying you. Do not punish me. Keep me away from what makes you angry. By your kindness and your power, O the ultimate wish of those who desire.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
We're back again at the same time tomorrow, so we'll see you then. Assalamu alaikum.
أنا أحبك يا شهر الخير لأنك أحلى أيامي أحب أزور أحبابي وأخوالي وعمامي أنا أحبك يا شهر الخير لأنك أحلى أيامي أنا أحبك يا شهر الخير يا رمضان